Oh man, the crypto market is on the move. Bitcoin now breaking out from a very important pattern. I've also spotted a huge reversal pattern forming on the 4-hourly chart, which I need to share with you. Is this going to be the pattern that gets Bitcoin back to all-time highs and creating a new all-time high as well? I'm going to break down exactly what I'm seeing in the charts, which patterns I'm watching, plus what is going on with Grayscale. We know last week was a horrible week, right? If you were following our updates, you will know that Grayscale threw a really big spanner in the works. I mean, if you take a look here at the stats, you can see money was flowing in across most of the key ETF, the Bitcoin spot ETFs, but Grayscale decided to dump, and they ended up dumping quite a lot of Bitcoin last week, and that really did lead to a big market downfall. And the challenging thing about that is you can have your macroeconomics right, you can have a lot of your TA right, but sometimes you just get an extenuating circumstance like GBTC, and when they dump, it messes up. So you've got to be very, very careful. Now, if you take a look here at the cumulative, what we're looking at, the growth in the ETF volumes has been very, very impressive. I mean, if we look at this, we're now, I think, on the 50th day of the Bitcoin spot ETF. It's still very, very young. You're talking over, $12 billion here in money sat in Bitcoin spot ETFs. And for me, this is just the start. This is going to be those early days. If you remember the gold ETFs, early days where we think these are big numbers, these are going to be eclipsed over time. And I think as long as you have that kind of conviction, there's no way that you can't make a thesis for why Bitcoin is the most powerful asset class on earth. Now, the other thing we need to take a look at is the list. We know GBTC are still selling. People are redeeming their GBTC, and therefore Grayscale don't need to hold the underlying spot Bitcoin, and that is leading them to dump on the open market. So you can see the updates here on every day of last week: 18th March, 19th March, 20th March, 21st, and 22nd. These are in Bitcoin, by the way, so just 5,000 Bitcoin dumped there, another 5,000 there, dumping all the way through last week. But they're still sat at the top, right? They're still the entity which holds the most Bitcoin. They're still sitting on 347,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot, guys, right? It's a lot of Bitcoin they're sat on. If you jump on over here to CoinGlass, they're sitting on an estimated 350,000 Bitcoins. You're talking about $22 billion in assets under management, right? Just in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So, there's going to be some more dumping. But there's something else that's important to understand, is that where is that money going? You got to understand, why is this selling happening? And a lot of the money rotating out of GBTC is to do with the high fees. People who were sat there in GBTC, the vast majority, there were some speculators who were selling and taking profit, but the vast majority of them are moving because of the fees, and they want to move to the alternatives like Fidelity, like Wisdom Tree, like ARK, like BlackRock. And so when we see these outflows, you have to think that after a certain amount of time, we should see the corresponding inflow back in as well. So it's not something to be hugely panicked about in this market right now. With that said, the question is now going to be, are we going to see some more dumping? Right? Is that dumping going to affect the market? Because yes, we've got some really important chart patterns. I'm going to break them down for you. We're going to try to analyze this market and see if we can get a way back to some of these all-time highs. But again, if Grayscale want to dump, we've got to be careful. And this is why I will always start off my videos with warnings that if you're leveraged in this market right now, you're asking to be wrecked. I mean, first and foremost, I would not be short in this market right now, but even leverage long in this market, absolutely not, right? There's a reason I take spot trades. There's a reason I DCA spot as well. It gives you that peace of mind. If this market wants to go volatile, if the market wants to go grab liquidity up there and come back down and then go back up again, I'm good. I'm not going to panic sell. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to hold through it anyway. It's when you've got liquidation levels like this sitting here that the market makers want to go grab it and then they move back to the upside. So don't be liquidity fodder for the big fish. Please don't be that liquidity fodder for the big fish. All right, so I'm going to break down these chart patterns for you. If you're not in our trading community, ijazcrypto.com/TG, that's going to be the very first link in the description. Make sure you're with us. Join us, right? I did over 330% spot returns trading the crypto market last month, right? And I plan to do the same this month as well. So make sure in our community, ijazcrypto.com/TG. It's in the Telegram group, links in description. So Bitcoin was, if you take a look at the first pattern we had, we were in a rising wedge, right? And this is a bearish pattern. And no doubt we broke to the downside. But now we're in a falling wedge. And what's a falling wedge? It's actually a bullish pattern. So if you see what's happened, we've been in this falling wedge, But we finally got a breakout. We've got the breakout. We had a small retest there, and it's just continued upwards. We've had a really impressive move here on Bitcoin from the point of breakout up towards the top here, already 3 to 4%. But the question is, can this now work its way right to the top of the wedge? Remember, the price target of a pattern like this is to work your way to the top of the wedge. Let me just zoom out to the 4-hourly chart so you can see this a little bit clearer. It's to work your way to the top of the wedge up there. But before doing so, you have a few key areas of resistance. And the first level of resistance you're going to face is this bit here, right? This first pivot point here is going to act as the first resistance, sitting at 68,000. So do not be surprised to see Bitcoin struggle here. What we don't want to see here on Bitcoin is that we simply get rejected from this level. We don't want to go up here, boom, can't get through it, it's just too rough, and we end up just curling back over again. Very important that Bitcoin is able to push through 68 and work its way onwards if we want to see the price action get back to the all-time highs at the peak there. We also have a little bit of resistance around here. It's got a little bit of resistance around that 69,000 as well. So those are the two key levels on Bitcoin. But there's something more pressing that I want to share with you, and that is this big inverse head and shoulders pattern. If you take a look here on the 4-hourly chart on Bitcoin, you can see a very, very clear inverse head and shoulders pattern forming. You got the left shoulder, you got the head, you got the right shoulder. Now, if you're still struggling to spot these in the charts, if you're not familiar with these patterns and how to spot them, it's worth learning TA. Now, I've got a TA course. Of course, you can learn it online. You can learn it for free. You can learn it on YouTube. But if you want to learn it in a structured curriculum where I walk through every single pattern, head and shoulders pattern, Adam and Eve pattern, your EMA ribbons, your candlesticks, your dojis, all the stuff that I use on a day-to-day basis to trade, it's all in one place. ijazcrypto.com/TA for technical analysis is where you're going to find that. Okay, so if you want to work through that, then definitely you'll find that useful going into this bull market. So the question now is, what is the measured move? Well, to get the measured move, again, if you've taken the TA course, you know you take this move, you apply it to the point of breakout, and this gives you a price target up at 75,000. This is a very, very important reversal pattern here on Bitcoin. But it doesn't just play out straight away. You have to watch for a break of the neckline. Now, we haven't had a break of the neckline first. In order to get a confirmed break of the neckline, you need to have a 4-hourly candle pattern break through the candle and close, and then I want to see the next candlestick open up in the green as well. Why? Well, that is what I call confirmation. When the first candlestick breaks the neckline, this is very important when you start becoming experienced with trading. When the first candlestick breaks through, you need to wait for that candle close, because you could ape into a trade as the candlestick is pushing through the neckline, and then later on in that candle, remember it's a 4-hourly candle, so maybe in the last 30 minutes of that candlestick, boom, it sells back, and you end up with a red candle which wicked you, got you excited to take a leverage long position, and then it just closed back to the downside again, got rejected, and went in the bearish direction. So be very, very careful. I wait for a candle close, and I even wait for the next one, a confirmation candle, to open in the green as well. So very, very important pattern here on Bitcoin. This is a 4-hourly chart showing a nice inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is, of course, a nice bullish reversal pattern. You can also see that Bitcoin is above its 4-hourly EMA ribbon. And this is really, really important, because we hope now that the 4-hourly EMA ribbon can start to act as a bit of support, right? Maybe it can start pushing us and helping us. We can use it to bounce off of and move to the upside. Because here, we're bearish. We managed to flip bullish very briefly, rejected again. Now we managed to get above it. Can we hold above it? Touch the EMA ribbon maybe here somewhere, and then boom, head upwards and start working our way to the upside. Now, if we jump onto the daily chart, things start to look quite okay, right? If you remember, this was last week. You see the pain? A lot of people really panicked. But what are you really panicking about? Are you panicking because of a correction into the daily EMA ribbon after crazy move to the upside? This is insanity. And the reality is that the rest of the market is not panicking. 75 on the fear and greed index. This market is still greedy. The hodlers are hodling. If you've been following me on Twitter, which you should be doing, at ReallyJaza1, X, Twitter, whatever, you will notice that the hodlers are hodling. Bitcoin transfers to accumulation addresses reached a record-breaking 25,000 Bitcoin on March the 22nd, surpassing the previous all-time high of 25.1. So accumulation addresses are addresses which are proven to hodl. Right? It's going to hodlers. And what do hodlers do? They hodl. Right? And let me back this up. Look at this. Look at the supply on exchanges. Supply on exchange has reached its lowest point in 4 years, experiencing a nearly 40% decline. There appears to be no signs of a slowdown as we approach the next halving event, according to data from CryptoQuant, which is an on-chain specialist as well. So what are we seeing? We're seeing money flow to people who want to hodl for the next leg up. And the proof that they're hodling is that they're taking their money off exchanges. If they had intention to sell, or they're waiting for a quick pump up towards 70 and then they're getting out, they would leave their money on exchange, they'd wait for the pump to hit 70, and they have a limit order to sell when Bitcoin hits 70, 75, let's say, and they're out. But these are hodlers. And that's what you need to understand about this market, is you have a new crop of people understanding and believing that crypto, and Bitcoin specifically, is the asset class of the future. And that is why they're starting to jump in now, because they can see that that adoption is growing. Now, if we take a look at altcoins, you can look across the board. It's still starting to see a little bit of green come back into the market today. Now, if we look at the week, right? If we look at the weekly bubbles, you can see there was a little bit of pain, but just zoom out to the month. It's been an insane month, and we need to remind ourselves of this. Sometimes it's easy to forget that people are printing money right now. I mean, if I'm sitting there looking at Phantom up 177%, this is a coin I was buying at 15 cents and making videos about it every single day, up 177%. This is not just meme coins. Of course, you can point to the meme coins, with 801%, Shiba up 200%, 570%, Pepe up another 570%, Solana's, of course, been on a crazy run as well, 100% on a top 3-4 altcoins in the world. These are not small meme coin projects. So you really are seeing opportunities where money is being made. And the question is, are you taking advantage of that? Are you profiting from that? Or are you still sitting on the sidelines? Still sitting on the sidelines procrastinating. And this is going to be the biggest thing that stops you from benefiting from this bull market, is scared money. Scared money makes no money. At some point, you need to make the personal choice, not me. Don't sit there blaming me or another person who makes YouTube videos, or someone on Twitter, or some article you read on CoinDesk. You need to take responsibility to decide, which projects do you like? Do you want to invest in crypto in the first place? Are you going to invest? Are you going to trade? Are you going to do both like I do? And what is your strategy? Do you have it written on a post-it note to say, this is my strategy, I'm going to treat it like a professional? Or you're just sitting there dabbling, buying some meme coins, your friend says, I'll buy this one, and you scurry across to buy that one. You're not going to make it. If that's your attitude, you're going to waste this cycle, and maybe you'll figure out for the next cycle. But why? Why wait? Figure it out now. Take a couple of days, hours to figure out a strategy, write it down, say, these are the altcoins I want. I want some of Bitcoin, I want some Ethereum. This is how I'm going to DCA. I'm not going to FOMO in and buy green candles. I'm going to wait for pullbacks, and I'm going to do trading with this part of my portfolio as well. Set a plan. Nothing great happens without a plan. So there you have it, guys. There is an update on what I'm seeing in the Bitcoin charts. Exciting reversal pattern. If those reversal patterns do play out, I will actively be trading altcoins myself, and I'll be sharing in my Telegram community which exact altcoin trades I'm taking. If you want to see those, first link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.